Hello, in this C programming video, I am going to talk to you about two-dimensional arrays. And this principle can actually be applied to any level, level of dimension 2, 3, 4 dimensions, as many as you want. Just bear in mind, beyond 3 dimensions, it can kind of become hard to visualize mentally, but the principle is exactly the same. So what is a two-dimensional array? A two-dimensional array, you can think of it like this. It's an array where each element in the array, so I've got this one-dimensional array here. You can think of it, instead of each element having some sort of value like an integer or a character, each value is another array. So it has another added level of complexity. I've got an image that I found online that I think represents what, is a good representation of what we're trying to do. So the way you would access elements for reading and writing in a two-dimensional array, you would have two square brackets, and you would do, remember, everything in computers starts at 0. You would do 0, which is the first bracket, would access the row, and there's 3 rows, 0, 1, 2. Then the second one would access the column for that particular row. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But as you can see on the second row, they're accessing different elements because the first index is now a 1, as you can see. So that's how you do it. Let's go ahead and implement this. I will do this later. And what we'll do is we will get rid of this. We don't need this. We'll say int, and I'm going to say values. Can't think of an example. So actually, there's a few different ways of initializing this. If we do, let's do 3. We'll do the same system as before. We can do it like this, and now we have not initialized the array inline. Therefore, we need to start setting values. So if I said values 0, 0 equals 4, for example, values, so we're still dealing with the first row, 1 equals 2, and let me copy and paste this, and we'll say 2, we'll put this 6, and we'll copy and paste these 3 again. And let me just do some quick editing. If you're wondering how I'm doing this square selection, I'm using my middle mouse button. Oh, that's wrong. Should be 2. And then sort of dragging down with the mouse. Really helps when you have a proper middle mouse button. And again, the values honestly do not matter. I just want them to be unique. So we can see the difference. Now to access any particular value, let's say if I did printf, %i, and I want to access this one. You just put values. So you first specify the row, which is, it's not the second row, it's row number 2, and that's technically the third row. And then you put 1, which is the second column, and we're good to run. And we should, all goes well, get a value of 23 printed out. We get 23 printed out. Fantastic. So that's basically it. There's one other thing I want to show you. Imagine if we didn't want to do it like this and we wanted to put it in line. So I will comment this out for now. And again, you can do it in line by specifying, and I'll do it like this first. So with a single dimensional array, you put that, and then you put your numbers, for example, like so. With a two-dimensional array, you need to have 2 sets of curly braces separated by a comma. And sorry. You have as many sets of braces that you need, because each one will refer to the particular row. So we, in this case, oh my bad, that was a little mistake on my part. We need 3 sets of curly braces. So the first one will refer to the first row, second row, and then the third row. And I'll put the exact same values in here, and 7, 9, and finally 43, 67. This, as of now, should still be working the same way, 23. And if we test it with, let's say we do 0, 0, we should get 4 printed out. We get 4 printed out, fantastic. So we can do it inline as well. And you just add as many as you need to. So if you needed, for example, to do another extra dimension, you just do that, put the amount that you want. It would effectively be like this. Each column itself, each row would have an array, and then in each one of that array, each one of its values would have another array. So you can think of it as each row value would have another 2-dimensional array. That's the reason I'm saying really beyond 3 dimensions, it gets very hard to visualize, but there's no real limitation of how many that you can do. It might vary depending on how much RAM you have, etc. But otherwise, you should be all good to go. And so that's it. And remember, you can just get rid of this now. Oh, sorry. Still got to put the square brackets to indicate. So I thought you could do that. Just ignore it. That's something I'll revert back to, and I'll put a comment down below. It's a little mistake on my part. But yeah, that's basically it for 2-dimensional arrays. You might be thinking, okay, Farhan, this is very manageable now that we've just got a 2-dimensional array that has 3 rows, 4 columns. What if I have a 2-dimensional array that has 100 rows, 1,000 columns, and I want to initialize all the values initially to 1, for example? What do I do then? I can't be manually expected to be doing this. You're 100% right. And that's the purpose of the next video, which will cover traversing the array, and that's for reading and writing purposes, using a loop, which makes it a lot easier, and we'll actually use a much larger array to demonstrate, a scenario where it wouldn't be practical to do it like this. So as of now, this isn't that impractical to set values like so, especially if it's the same value, you can just easily do it. But a larger array, hell yeah, it gets very difficult, but that's what the purpose of the next video is for. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the Discord group, link in the description, or alternatively post in the comments. If you like this programming video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified of more programming content. Let me know what other C and general programming videos you would also like to see, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.